Welcome to this course on ChatGPT for accountants and bookkeepers. And over the next 2 hours, I'm going to show you how we can use this extraordinary tool to save hours and hours of time, how we can use it to create better results in our accounting firm, how we can use it to add value to our clients, create more value. We've got a lot of stuff to cover in the next 2 hours. The way that we'll structure the course is I will start off with some of the foundations, some of the big benefits of ChatGPT. We'll look at some of the shortcomings, the things to be aware of. We'll look at how to set up ChatGPT in the first place. We'll also be talking about the important issue of prompt engineering, how to craft great prompts. We'll look at practical use cases. But most important, I want to make it really practical. We're going to go through at least 10 examples. We're going to go into ChatGPT and we're going to look at specific prompts, specific things that you can do. Now, most of the practical bit, the 10 use cases, we'll do in the latter half of the course because we have to start with the foundations. We have to understand, for example, how to craft our prompts, some key things about prompt engineering and so on. Anyway, before we dive into the course, just a little bit about me in case you have no idea who I am. My name's Mark Wickersham. You can perhaps tell by the accent, I'm from the UK. I am an accountant. I've been in this profession now for, let me think, over 30 years. It was 1988. I left university, went to work for a large multi-partner firm in the UK. I qualified after 3 years as a chartered accountant. And I then spent the next few years specializing in tax, income tax, corporation tax. And then in 1996, I decided I wanted to be my own boss. So I started my own accounting firm as a sole practitioner. I had no clients. So I set out how to grow an accounting firm. And after 3 years of making every possible mistake you could imagine, I stumbled across the formula for making a practice really successful, primarily through pricing. I'm mainly known for value pricing in the profession. I sold my accounting firm a few years later to my client managers. They bought it. I believe it still exists in the UK. I think they've still got the same name, Wickersham's. And I then started in 2000 teaching accountants. The things that I'd learned in my short professional career in my firm, of the mistakes I'd made, what I'd done to change those things, and how I then built a successful firm. And I then became known as the expert in value pricing. My first book was published in May 2011, called Effective Pricing for Accountants. It went to #1 on Amazon. I've written, I think, 6 more books since. My latest one is over my shoulder here, which was published in 2022 by Kogan Page. It's called Value Pricing for Accounting Professionals. And so that's what I do. I founded the Value Pricing Academy back in, 2010. No, I didn't. 2014. 2014, I founded the Value Pricing Academy, and I work with accounting firms around the world, primarily in the US and Canada. I teach accounting firms how to price more effectively, how to increase profits by pricing, how to move to value pricing, how to create more value by offering advisory services, and how to grow our firms profitably. Anyway, I became fascinated by ChatGPT at the start of this year because when I stumbled across it, I realized it had the ability to completely transform the way that accounting firms work. It's going to have a major impact. It's having a major impact on the profession. And so I realized that this is something that we cannot ignore. This change in AI, that what's happened in 2023 is so extraordinary that we have to stay ahead of the curve. So let me talk a little bit about the background to AI and ChatGPT. And so very quickly, AI is nothing new. It's believed to have been around for something like 70 years. So AI, artificial intelligence, is not new. And it's been in the world around us in so many different ways. In recent years, for example, we see it built into things like Netflix, which recommends next things that we might like. It starts to analyze and understand our preferences. Apple have used it in things like face recognition. We have things like robots that can clean our floors. We have advanced driver aids in cars. And now, of course, we're moving towards driverless cars. We also know that, for example, the Da Vinci surgical system does better surgery than human beings, than the top surgeons. It's incredible what AI can do. So it's not new. It's been around for many, many years, but it's increasing now. It's at a huge rate of change, and really a lot of that has happened since November 2023. November 2022. November 2022, I think, will go down as the month where everything changed, the world changed. And what I mean by that is that that's when the public saw the release of ChatGPT version 3. Now, ChatGPT is a large language model. It's a form of AI. It was created by a company called OpenAI back in 2015. There were a number of founders who collectively invested $1 billion. Some of the most well-known ones are Sam Altman, Elon Musk, although Elon Musk left in 2018, citing problems with Tesla he had to focus on at the time. But really, there were some differences of opinion. Anyway, OpenAI released ChatGPT 3 to the public in November 2022. And that took the world by storm. It was the fastest platform to ever get to 100 million users, thrashing the record of TikTok. In January of 2023, Microsoft invested $10 billion in ChatGPT because it could see the potential of it and it wants to build it into Bing. Then in March 2023, OpenAI released ChatGPT version 4. And we'll talk about that later on in the course. And that, of course, then started a huge panic because Google then realized they had a big problem. If Bing, which we thought was a dinosaur, was suddenly being enhanced by AI, by ChatGPT, Bing decided it better launch its Bard model pretty soon, which it did. And it launched it too early. It was a bit embarrassing at first. It made lots of mistakes. But we've seen there's been a huge increase in not just large language models, but all sorts of AI tools now for generating images, videos, and so on. If we stick with large language models, we saw Google working on Bard. We've seen that both Google and Amazon are investing heavily in another large language model called Claude by Anthropic. We saw in the summer of 2023, Meta launched Llama, their open source large language model. And then, as I'm recording this in November 2023, just last week, Apple made a big announcement. Apple have been extremely quiet in this space, but they have announced that they're going to be investing, I think it's $1 billion a year, developing their large language model. And the platform that they're building is going to be called Ajax. Strange name in the UK. That's a brand of floor cleaner. Anyway, Ajax will be the model that powers their large language model. What the eventual name of that will be, we don't know. It could be Apple GPT, but I'm sure there'll be something more creative than that. Anyway, this is moving so incredibly fast, and it's in some respects very exciting. In some respects, it can be scary. There's been lots of doom mongers who've been saying that things like this is going to replace millions and millions of jobs. And certainly that's a very realistic possibility. And accountants and bookkeepers are right up there because much of what we've done in the past with, for example, compliance work, that could disappear in the next 2 or 3 years. But one of the things I've often said is it's not AI that's going to replace us. It's not AI that's going to replace us. It's how our competitors are using AI. And what that means for you as an accounting firm is you need to make sure that you are ahead of the curve, because there are no doubt that many accountants and bookkeepers will find themselves out of work in the next few years with the pace of change. However, I believe this creates so many opportunities if we're willing to grasp those opportunities and use AI as a tool to get so much more stuff done and at a higher level. So why is it so powerful for us? Why do we need to invest time into ChatGPT? And in our business, for example, we're a team of 5, and 4 of us spend one day a week, every Thursday, is ChatGPT Day, where the whole team is encouraged to research, learn, play around with ChatGPT. We spend an hour on a Zoom call to share what we've learned. Why? Because the time it's saving us is extraordinary. We'll get into the practical stuff later, but we can create things that so much faster than we ever could have done before. So experts think that 300 million jobs are going to be at risk. And the reason for that is that there are problems with humans. Humans have lots of flaws, as you perhaps know. Firstly, humans are extremely expensive.